waiting for the last of the below deck fiberglass to fire off, so I thought I'd kind of play with the gel coat here for a little while. What I'm going to do, or actually what I've been doing, I'm going to do a little bit more, is wet sand this with 1000 grit wet or dry paper. Sometimes you have to take it down a little bit further, but I had some 1000 grit, so I thought I'd try it to see what happens. So once we get done with the 1000 grit, you can go to 1500, which ultimately we may do, but I'm going to go ahead and do the 1000 grit and then try using this stuff, which is 3M Super Duty rubbing compound. This stuff is awesome. Years ago, when I used to work in the body shop, we'd get trucks in that had 400,000 or 500,000 miles on them, and just look like crap. You could hit it with this stuff, the electric buffer, and make it look like new. It's pretty amazing. And then we're going to top it off with this stuff here, which is called Perfected 2. And it's also a rubbing compound, but it's a much finer grit rubbing compound, and it actually breaks down with the heat of the buffer when you're buffing it. Now, both these products work much better with the buffer. I don't have one right now because the jackass stole mine. However, I did order one last week. Should be here later this week. So, anyhow, I just thought I'd kind of play around with this. So, I'll give it a whirl, see what happens. Great, we're under yet another thunderstorm warning. Apparently there's tornadoes on the ground somewhere out to the west. Hopefully nobody's stuff is getting tore up. Been there, done that. That's no fun. So I just thought I'd hit this a little bit more. You can kind of feel when you're getting there, because all of a sudden it's real smooth. It's pretty much gotten there in terms of both your feel and running the paper over it, as long as the paper's wet. So that's key, keep the paper wet. Some people use squirt bottles. I like to use like a little deal like this and dip it, just because I think it cleans the paper off a little bit better. And that's one of the things that's really important about this. You can't have a bunch of contaminants on this in terms of sand or grit, or on your paper or in your water. If you get it in your water, on your paper, wash everything off, including the surface, and start out with a clean surface, because that stuff will just scratch the heck out of it. Okay, I cleaned the sanding sludge off of it, and you can see the sanding started about right here, and I don't know, it goes somewhere to about right here. And it's still kind of dull, but what it's done is it's knocked all the oxidation, or at least in theory, assuming we wouldn't have to go to a coarser grit, off. And next thing we'll do is hit it with the Super Duty rubbing compound, and then finally finish it with the Finesse It 2. Okay, change of plans. I found some 1500 digging through stuff, so I'm going to start right here, and from this line over, I'm going to do it with the 1500, and this side we're just going to leave it with 1000. Buff the two of them, see if we can tell the difference between the two. Basically, I'm lining my paper up with basically the end of this bracket for the canopy. So go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll try the buffing compound. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but right here's our line. I've sanded this part with the 1500. This part on this side I've just left with 1000 grit, just to give it a comparison's sake. I think you can kind of see right here where it's shinier, and the reason it's shinier, it's simply getting smoother. So I'll be kind of curious to see if, once we go over with the Super Duty, if you can tell the difference between this and this, because obviously if this looks as good as this, that would save us a step. If this looks a lot better, then we'll probably make this a two-step process in terms of sanding. So I'll go ahead and buff it down next and see what it looks like. Okay, we've got the Finesse It 2 done. I think I said micro finish, but then you have to Finesse It 2. And it makes a huge difference. You can kind of see right here where the light starts to go away, or the reflection from the light. And you kind of see the same thing down here, where all the oxidation and crap is. This is from my garden hose, by the way. It's a rubber garden hose. I didn't think about that, but anyhow, it'll sand off. I'm pretty pleased with this. I think actually this would work. I can't tell that much difference between the 1500 side and just the 1000 side. So I think I may just try this with the 1000 side and then hit it with the buffer, because the buffer will make a big difference in terms of the finish versus doing it by hand, particularly with the, well, actually with both of them. So I'll try that, but I'm pretty happy with the results. I mean, it's dark outside, or not dark, it's overcast, and I'm pretty sure if it's daylight you'd be able to see my reflection pretty easily in it. So anyhow, I think that is it for tonight.